Have you ever picked up a book, stared at the first page, and thought, I'm going to need a secret decoder ring for this? Well, today we're climbing the Mount Everest of literature, James Joyce's Finnegans Wake. It's got a reputation for being impossible, but stick with me, because we're about to crack the first part of its code together. And welcome! This is the Episode 1 summary of the Reading Finnegans Wake in 200 Sessions podcast, where we analyze James Joyce's masterpiece 3 pages at a time. Before we dive in, please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment to support us. Now, this is just a summary. For a way more detailed analysis, you've got to listen to the full podcast. And for line-by-line explanations and notes, the finneganswakenotes.com website is your absolute best friend. All right, so here's our game plan for today. We're going to look at why everyone calls this the unreadable book. Then we'll unlock the secret of the very first sentence. We'll listen for a massive sound of thunder, meet the poor builder who takes a tumble, and then I'll show you where your real journey into this book begins. Okay, let's just get it out there. Finnegans Wake is famous for being, well, let's just say it's not exactly a beach read. It's notoriously difficult. In fact, people usually call it the most difficult book in the world. And they're not wrong. I mean, it's written in this strange dream language, jam-packed with puns and words from dozens of languages all swirled together. It's almost designed to be confusing. But here's the twist. What if we've been looking at it all wrong? What if you stop trying to read it in a straight line, and instead you start treating it like a giant elaborate puzzle, a code that needs cracking? Once you find the first key, the whole thing starts to open up. And that first key, it's hidden in plain sight, right in the way the book is built. It all starts with the first sentence, which, funnily enough, isn't actually a complete sentence. Check this out. The entire book is a loop. The very last line, this half sentence here, flows right back into the very first word, Riverrun. It creates a perfect circle. There's no real beginning and there's no real end. It just keeps going. And Joyce, being the genius that he is, tells you exactly what he's doing just a few words into the book. He mentions a commodious vicus of recirculation. Now, vicus is just Latin for street, but it's also a fantastic pun on an 18th century philosopher named Giambattista Vico, who had a wild idea about a vicious circle of history. See, Vico didn't think history was a straight line moving forward. No, he thought it was a cycle that just repeats over and over again. First comes the age of gods, then an age of heroes, then an age of men, and finally a chaotic collapse and return, the ricorso that starts the whole cycle over. And that, right there, is the blueprint for Finnegans Wake. So what kicks off Vico's whole cycle? What gets humanity moving? A big, terrifying clap of thunder. And to represent that, Joyce gives us one of the most legendary words in all of literature. Yep, this one. 100-letter monster of a word that just crashes onto the page. But this isn't just random noise. This is the sound of a huge, world-changing event. It's the fall of man. It's the Tower of Babel crumbling. It's Vico's thunderclap that started civilization. And this is where you really see Joyce's method at work. If you start to pull this word apart, you find the word for thunder in a ton of different languages. You've got Greek, French, Japanese, Italian, Finnish, and a whole lot more, all smashed together into one universal earth-shattering sound. So we have this massive cosmic fall, this thunderclap that echoes through all of history. But what does Joyce do? He immediately shrinks it down to something much more human, the story of an ordinary Irish bricklayer. So let's meet our guy, Big Mester Finnegan. Even his name is a mashup. Big Mester is Norwegian for master builder, which is a shout-out to a famous play by Henrik Ibsen about, you guessed it, an architect who falls from a tower he built. And the Finnegan part? That comes from a classic Irish-American song about a construction worker, Tim Finnegan, who liked his whiskey a little too much. And one day, the song tells us, he fell from the ladder and broke his skull. So you see what Joyce is doing? That giant thunderword isn't just some cosmic boom. It's the sound of poor Tim Finnegan hitting the ground. And in that one moment, his fall becomes every fall. It's Adam and Eve getting kicked out of the garden. It's Humpty Dumpty taking a great fall. It's the fall of civilizations. It's all the same story, just recirculating. So, there you have it. You've cracked the first level. The book is a circle. It's about a fall that represents all falls. But, and you knew there was a but, didn't you? That's all just from the first page. The rabbit hole goes so much deeper.
I mean, right out of the gate, you're left wondering things like, who is this Sir Tristram guy? And how on earth could he be connected to the Norman invasion of Ireland, a viola with 7 strings, and a battle fought by the Duke of Wellington?
And if that's not enough, why does it seem like the voice of God talking to Moses from that burning bush is getting tangled up with the story of St. Patrick lighting a bonfire on a hill to defy an Irish king? And what is the link between the Bible story of Jacob and Esau, the famous writer Jonathan Swift, and the 2 different women he loved? I mean, how does all of that fit together? Look, these aren't just random facts thrown at a wall. Every single one is a piece of the puzzle. And if you want to see how it all connects, you have to dive deeper. Listen to the Reading Finnegan's Wake podcast. Go visit finneganswakenotes.com. Your journey into Joyce's dream has really only just begun.